All right. Today we're going to be talking about harmonics and the frequencies and how they relate to us. So basically, well, just to jump into it really, as humans, we have our base vibrations as well as other micro vibrations that make us up. These other vibrations in music are called Xenharmonics or microtonal, or the frequencies in between notes. Many other cultures use Xenharmonics in their music because it's more fine-tuned to what the note actually sounds like. It's a more accurate representation of the note. Western music tuned a lot of the harmonics, a lot of the notes to make people just feel different, make them more depressed. These are all like government testings that they were doing when they were looking at black culture and their music and their arts, and basically trying to mimic, finding out what made them so special and upbeat, and then fucked with the tuning of them. Same thing for like tuning forks and everything. They all come from like different types of tones, different types of harmonics. But there's also in 808s in modern music. They use certain frequencies in 808s to implement control tactics. And 808s are just simply low frequencies or bass frequencies. The sub of songs, y'all know. But a lot of musicians know the bass or the 808 as the floor or grounding element of the song. You could even say it's the root or the star chakra of music if you wanted to get that far into it. You could relate it that way if you need to. But with Xenharmonics, you get to hear the true tone of the vibration. It's a more pure frequency. And as well as meditation music should be tuned to this, to true notes and not just certain frequencies, to allow yourself to fully heal. That's why sub-meditation music doesn't work, and why a lot of people think that my meditation music is too much, and it's because I actually tune my meditation music to whatever frequency I need it to be, and I use a lot of different microtonals in it. A lot of other people just use the tone, the note, or the key for that frequency and then make the song off of it, hoping that helps. And then as well, a lot of people just copy paste a bunch of stuff and they try and tweak it, or they don't tweak it at all. And it just loses its value over time because it needs to have that craft. It needs to have the originality. Just hearing the same frequency over and over again doesn't do much. It's about the harmonics within that. Meditation music is usually tuned to heal that portion of the body, that chakra, whatever you're going for. You can go to the channel playlist that I have and check out the meditation music there. Warning though, some of them are very strong for good reason though, to actually allow you to get into the element, the zone, the vibration that's needed as well. And if you need an example for microtonal music, because I wouldn't know where to even start to give you a good representation of microtonal. There's so many branches to go off of, but there is a song and an artist that I know, and they make really good microtonal music, or Xenharmonic music, or however you wish to call it, and that's going to be linked in the description. If you want like a taste of how it's supposed to be. But, there are just almost too many examples for Xenharmonics out there. So it would take forever to show you. And as well as I always just implore you to do your own research on these things. Because even though I'm telling you from things that I know and that I've researched and that are true, it's always best to see it for your own eyes. Never believe someone blindly, because the blind will lead the blind. When you find the exact that you need, you'll find the exact that you need. Anyway, these harmonics are tuned by cents, or in other words, by the 100th part. as cent means 100. And 100 just means one more than 99. So basically 100 is talking about 101, when if you just wanted to say 100, which is one more than 99. This is another like trick in the English language that people don't understand. It's very simple. You just look up the etymology of these words. It's right there in black and white, but people don't want to take time to relearn the lie, the truth, really, because they've been told a lie and they're satisfied with that lie, which just keeps you stagnant. If you're not growing, you're basically dead. That's just how this earth works. And just as there are umbrella terms for words, which then dilute them to mean falsities, the Western system diluted the root note, the root core note, as well as the tone, to affect the brain and the energy around people. This is why Western music, or the Western flow, if you even want to say that, of music is usually 4 on the floor, or 4/4, 4 beats per 4 measures, which is to match the vibration of marching. And it's also usually made in the key of C major, as C major is literally the easiest key to make music with. It is all the white notes on the keyboard. You can't mess up in it. It's super simple. That's why it gets constantly pushed out. That's why you see music a lot being pushed out like constantly, because people just use the root of C major. It's the simplest one. It takes no effort in that demand. As well as the key of C major gives off a spiritual feeling. So you can really just see the music industry not only, selling the souls of people to get them what they want, what they think that they want, at least, because everyone's coming out and saying how awful it is. So it's not what they want at all. And everyone kind of just sees it from an outside view in the first place anyway. But the music industry is basically summoning demons, gods, deities, energies in their witchcraft, or better yet, in the emotional control they have on humanity, which is their witchcraft. Witch meaning feminine energy. You can look the etymology of these words up and find it. And craft is literally just the workings, which you're building. This is where we get the term tugging on the heartstrings, because it's using sound. The heartstrings are represented by a violin, which is why you have the tiny violin metaphor, and it's pulling on them to allow them to bring whatever emotion out, which is witchcraft. Witchcraft is also emotional manipulation. Magic by itself is energy manipulation. So you use witchcraft, which is the feminine working of changing energy. Then you step into the realm of music, of art, where it's able to take a harmonic or a color and then be able to do that. We're all witches and warlocks. If you can't get a grip of that, then you got to go somewhere else, because this is not the place for you. You must understand that everything that we do on this earth is considered witchcraft, as it has the emotional drawing, the emotional energy of love. This is why it's not good or bad. And if you define things, witchcraft is bad, then nothing you do works out, basically. That's why things aren't working the way that you wish to see them, because you are saying that your own craft coming from your heart is bad. Subconsciously, you understand this. Consciously, you don't, because consciously you have the free will to be ignorant and arrogant. And subconsciously, you don't have that choice, because subconscious comes from the heart. And the heart doesn't need to change, because the heart has already seen God, the spirit, the soul, whichever you have, 6 ether, 9 ether, respectively, has already seen God. And it does not need any more proof, any more pushings to do what it needs to do. It just knows it's the right way. That's why your subconscious doesn't fight back, but your conscious will. But as well as I ask that you take time to listen to Xenharmonic music or non-Western music to truly get a taste of what music is. The Western system has been used for brainwashing for a long fucking time. while other parts of the world use it for upliftment and celebration. A better expression, other than what the standards for Western music has dropped down to, it's just a lot better. Getting the grip of just like other, like, whether it's like drum or actual world music or whatever you're listening to, it's always best to not listen to westernized music, because it's built off of the backs of soul. That's why a lot of westernized music, it doesn't encapsulate people as much. It's just like background noise is what they'll say it as. You know what I mean? It doesn't really get anyone to groove or dance. And whenever it is, it's because, oh, it's this song and this genre has this dance, instead of just moving your body naturally to the flow of whatever's happening. It's more of a brainwash technique than an actual freeing of the soul. It's the illusion. But on top of the topic of westernized things, every westernized practice or studied is just a diluted, weaker version of the true power it's trying to emulate. And this is just fact, because Western civilizations and Western learnings don't want you to know the full truth. They want you to know enough to feel okay with it and then move on. So never just stick with Western studies. They're good. It's a good playground area, but if you're really serious about learning something or getting into the deeps of stuff, stay away from the Western side, because they hide so much shit and they don't tell you the full truth, and it's garbage. But we use the term diluted because it's been whitewashed. Understand that? Just listen to it, say it to yourself a few times if you don't get what that means. But if you do, then you understand why a lot of people tend to say things are diluted. It's not because it's just watered down, but it's also changed, and the term whitewashing has really been erased because for some reason people think it has a racial attack on it, but it's really not. It's just the truth of it is it's being washed by the white race. It's always been, ever since 6,000-ish plus years ago, you know? Anyway, back to Xenharmonics, because we go all over the place over here. But with Xenharmonics, they may feel uncomfortable at first, and that's just because you've been tuned incorrectly. You were told that in one form, rather it be truly expressive, you were just told that, like, how to basically tune yourself from a young age. My bad. But from a young age, we take in all these frequencies, and the frequencies go from voices, actions, everything. It all has a ripple. It all has a frequency. It wouldn't happen without some sort of sound happening, because, again, vibration is sound, and every vibration has a sound. Even if it's inaudible, it will have one. Even moving your hand through the wind, when you do it fast enough, it does make an effect. You can just test it out. But it's because we've been tuned incorrectly. That's why Xenharmonics feel uncomfortable. When you actualize that we're all tuning for the divine, and that we have allowed man or mind to control or tune us to the song or world around us instead of playing our own frequency, everything starts to make a lot more sense. Xenharmonics can be seen as the different actions of people in the same demographic or life path. And a good example, I guess, we could talk about for Xenharmonics is the note of C. The C is the root note, okay? But from C to B, from B to C and C to D, there are microharmonics, Xenharmonics that create that tinier vibrational, those tiny microtones that lead up to C. But they are all tuned differently, different timbres, different ways of being heard. But from the root, it's an important part of finding yourself is being able to retune yourself as well. So you know who you are based off of not only you, but other people, which other people are also vibrations. So when you're hearing opinions and stuff from other people, you then attach yourself to their vibration while allowing it to be with yours. And even though it might not define you fully. It might define something in your shadow. That is a Xenharmonic, a microtonal energy that's inside of you, that you've allowed to resonate. And it could be something from your shadow side. It could be something on the light. It doesn't matter. It could be you don't talk a lot, or it could be that you talk a lot. But however it is, that microtonal can change the entire timbre, frequency, even shape and sound of that note, of your song of life. Okay? When you're out of tune, you feel like things are missing. Certain harmonics that would support your main song are either too quiet or on the wrong tuning. To find your frequency or vibration, you must be isolated, away from other vibrations and frequencies. The only reason you feel drained is because other frequencies are leaving you, and things are being added to yourself to feel whole. But when you actualize that isn't who you are, and it's just who you're around, you'll start to really connect with yourself. You'll feel holy instead of like hold. You know what I mean? And this is where a lot of people say that they feel alone, because they're not listening to themselves. They're not allowing their own frequency, their own song to be heard based off of other frequencies around them that they still want to like grasp onto, or that they still want to have part of their song, when frankly there are different modes, different keys, different progressions in music. And same thing with your life, with your own frequency. And if they don't match up, then that sour note's going to play, and it's going to throw off everything in your life. So that's why it's important to go through these isolation periods. Again, nothing happens to you, it all happens for you. But you can never be alone. It's even in the name, and it's hilarious that people still don't realize, and they'll say it still. If you say you're alone, you're stuck into 3D, because you aren't alone. You're never alone. You don't feel like you're alone. You're believing. You're beliving. You're living a lie that you are having no one around you. It's the fact that you claim to be spiritual, but then don't acknowledge spirit around you, that keeps you stuck, that keeps you from getting where you want to go. So when you say that, oh, you're alone, and the angels and stuff, oh, they know what language you speak, what dialect it is, and the fact that you say alone, even though it means not alone or not solo, not by yourself, because anything in the English language that has a in front of it means not. Even though the angels understand that, you are consciously agreeing that means alone means that you have no one around you. So then your angels respect your free will, your guides, your ancestors respect your free will, and leave you by yourself until you are ready to admit that you're not alone, until you admit to yourself that these things that you have falsely told yourself and falsely put a curse on yourself with no longer resonate with you, or never did resonate with you, and that they were just simply terms that you agreed to due to a faulty belief system. But you loan, LOAN, this flesh to experience life. Okay? That's the only loan that you have. And you're not alone, because even then, every cell in your body is alive. Understand this. And for some people, but that's too out of character. That's not right. That's not real. Well, then I guess you're dead then. I guess that you are obliterated into oblivion to never return to Earth, because you're ignoring the faculties that create you. You're just a husk at that point if you're not accepting these things. And this is the truth. This is where your soul comes from. This is like where your spirit, your soul wants to come from, 6 ether, 9 ether respectfully. That's where it's living. And if you keep telling yourself that you're alone, and you believe what that word means by societal standards rather than what it actually means by its true etymological meaning, rather than what it wants to be defined as by man, then you allow that curse that you are consciously and subconsciously both agreeing with on that term, because you're allowing your brain, your masculine, to override your feminine, your heart, your conscious overriding your subconscious, which it has the free will to do. This is how you rewrite your subconscious, is by giving your conscious the intent of rewiring it for the better instead of the worse, which people need to do. But it allows that curse to flow through and get to you. And this happens because you yourself are not in tune with who you're supposed to be, with who you are, with the truth. And the truth is the purest tone you will have. You can even think of the truth as a sine wave if you truly want to think of it. It's truly non-distorted. It plays a solid tune. It has no timbre. It has no true changing. It is just a simple oscillation going up and down. It's the purest thing. But when you really get back into the tuning of who you are, instead of how people have seen you or how you feel around other vibrations, which just tells you that you're in the wrong choir, if you wish to say it that way too. When you start to put these things together and you isolate yourself, whether it's by spirit or by yourself, you then end up creating your own harmony, your own song, to where when people come to you and they try and distort your song, they can't, because their own song is distorted. You see, it's a battle, it's a mental battle, and it's not like to say that it's people around you doing stuff to you. It's really you. And you trying to fit in with other songs, with their frequencies that simply just are not in your range. They are not meant to be there. It is a fleshly desire to want to do that, but it's not what is needed. But you need to be aware of how you speak as well, because that influences your song as well. If you allow man to distort and pervert the meanings of words while ignoring the rules of whatever language you're speaking, please educate yourself with that, with the spells that you cast on yourself. And that's the only reason why anything happens in life, is because you decide to sing a verse or cast your spell, or however you wish to think about it. And then that becomes the defining factor. Everything is done for you, not to you. If you feel like it's being done to you, you need to detach. That's your solution that you're looking for. You are more than flesh, and remembering this will really help guide you through anything. Music is also mathematics, but we'll talk about that on a later date, as well as if you know Dr. Malachi Z. York. I forgot what tape it is, but he also talks about the mathematics in music. But this is just another way of looking at it. Everything on this earth that has been created from a source of magic. And a little tidbit, God used to be called mystic and or magician or magic when the term God was not a thing, because it was made up by the Romans. And it was a play on Anubis. And get this, this is some masonry knowledge I'm about to break down. So God is just Anubis. Anu equals Ra, or God, or sun. Bis means cat. God is dog backwards, and the opposite of dog is a cat. They got people worshiping cats when the actual God of this land is a literal dog. That's why you have the Canis Major and Minor next to Odin. That's why all the Egyptian gods come from Orion's belt. You cannot come to Earth without passing through the jackals. You cannot go anywhere without passing through the jackals. Understand this. They got y'all getting the wrong information. You can look this up as well. All this information's out there. It's real. I'm just telling you it because you need to snap out of this blasphemy that people put you under. Okay? But the term God is just a play off of the Egyptian gods of Ra and Anubis. You can even go as far in saying Basset if you wish. But it is entailing literally the being of life and death, which is Anu, the Anunnaki, Anubis. Anu means God, and God is Ra, the father of the sun. S-U-N, not S-O-N. Okay? But the term God used to be known as mystic, or mystical, or mystery. All these M-Y words. My. God is M-Y. It's literally you. But modern day religion don't want to tell people that. Especially the melanated folks, because once the melanated population really digs down and realizes that they are gods, and that the God that they think is white is a fictated, fake, blasphemous, literally the devil, the beast, and that the true God is black and melanated, with melanated skin, and understanding that we did not just become brown and black, that we were orange and red and yellow. There are other, and green, there are other melanated colors. Look them up. There are plants that have melanin. Look at those plant colors. We used to be those colors too. These are all races of melanated people that come down. When you see the aliens being green, they're preparing you for these tiny little green aliens. They're not preparing you for what they really are, these melanated beings made of strict carbon. But understand that. And the melanated community realizes that they are all goddesses and gods, and that they need to come together for this and understand this. That's when stuff's going to change. We're already in the sun cycle. The moon cycle has been over for a minute. It's been on a slow slope down. We've been waking up. We've been realizing all these things, and it's super important at this time to remember who you are. And that involves a lot to do with your frequency, your song. Your song is what you keep telling yourself, the story you keep living. Again, like going through the story of Cinderella and understanding that that is you, and that no matter what happens, you cannot lose your destiny. Understanding that the illusion of this world does not matter to you fully, and not buying into the games and gimmicks of it will really set you free. But that is what we have for the Xenharmonics. I really hope that you take time to listen to Xenharmonic music and delve into it. And if you are someone that is interested in getting meditation music, I do make specialized meditation music. I do take those requests. You have to go through the Google order form or email me about that. Or if you want to go, if you've been interested in making meditation music, take into consideration studying Xenharmonics, because that's going to really allow you to make meditation music that's going to heal people instead of, you know what I mean? But regardless, this is all information that people need to be aware of. It's not as simple as going in and 1, 2, 3ing it. If you truly want the best results, the most impactful things, you must study these things. Again, like I've even had people message me about my meditation music, being like, "This is like really strong," because it's meant to be that way. It's meant to not only encapsulate your ears, but your entire body. It's meant to tune you. Orion's Contact was probably one of the strongest ones I have, so be very careful when doing so. That one was strictly given to me by Anubis and Orion and Ra when I was really channeling them at the start. So it's very heavy. It gets you connected in there tight. So be very careful with that as well. But just studying harmonics and even just listening to Xenharmonics, and you'll even see on like one of the photos there, like there are so many, like, God, I think one's like Edo 112 or some shit. Like, there's so many tunings out there, but we're so stuck on using the westernized system that we literally are missing out on a whole entire healing experience that would actually heal instead of just, not. So take this all into consideration. Do your studying, please. It is super important. for you to be aware and to have your own familiarity with these things rather than just hearing someone talk about it, because part of wisdom is the experience, and if you don't get any experience, then it's just knowledge, and knowledge is nothing but gobbledygook. Anyone can say that they're knowledgeable. Anyone can fucking look at something and say that's a square, but have you ever experienced what it's like to be in a square? That's what it takes. That's where wisdom kicks in. You can even think of it like this. Knowledge is knowing that tomato is a fruit, and wisdom is understanding that tomatoes don't belong in salads unless you're eating a fruit salad. So we'll leave you off at that point, because that's a really interesting way of ending of saying it. Regardless, I hope this helped you. If you need any of the services that I have offered, oh my goodness, if you need any of the services that I have to offer, click in the description and check them out. You can go to the email, you can go to the Google form. However, if you need the bracelets, the link's also in there as well with the code and all that jazz. But thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for being here, being so open to learn, to evolving, and to really just living and not trying to be alive or not living. But I love each and every one of you to the moon and back, tenfold and forever, and I will see you later.